Looking for a place to get all the needed information about the agricultural sector? I welcome you to another exciting and fun-filled episode of Agribusiness Weekend, and I'm your girl Joy Labaran. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, I must say you are doing the wrong thing. Come on, we are trying to expand our family base, so do well to follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I always say it, you'll be first to get notifications whenever anything pops up. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Corporate Farmers International has partnered with Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and Kebbi States to launch an e-learning platform, EcoSchool Agric and CFIL e-learning support services. So if you are a youth, this is a very good opportunity to get yourself certified in any course of your choice in agriculture. So the link is right there on the screen, so you can watch excerpts from the launch of the 3 services that are changing the narrative of the agricultural sector already. So, farmers face different challenges in the agri sector in Nigeria, ranging from production to feeding of a whole population. Today, we will be looking at the possible challenges that farmers face and the way out. And on set with me is the CEO of Agro Exchange Tech Services, Adewale Adegoke. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
It's so glad to have you join me on the show.
Thank you.
What caught your interest in agriculture? Because I can see you're a gentleman, so I believe you should be in the bank, you know, with the tie. And why agriculture?
Okay, so it's a no-brainer. If you look at it, everybody has to eat. You know, feeding is a necessity.
Oh yeah?
Clothing is not. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Brushing my teeth is not. I can choose not to wear anything. I can choose not to brush my teeth. But I have to eat.
Exactly.
And as they say, an hungry man is an angry man.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So
you don't want to be angry.
No.
So you chose agriculture.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's the most viable business I believe anybody can go into.
Great. All right. There are so many challenges that farmers face in Nigeria. So we want to look at some of them so we can lay emphasis on them. The first on my list is the problem of lack of information. What do you think causes lack of information amongst farmers in Nigeria, and what ideas, what are the possible ways out?
Okay, thank you. That's a very critical question, and I believe is something that is a constraint that a whole lot of smallholder farmers that constitute about 80% of the agricultural productivity in Nigeria actually face. Information, you know, can be deduced as different distinct, you know, components.
Okay.
So you have information as to value chain, you know, optimization. You have information as to access to market. You have information as to access to finance. You have information about even empirical data about the soil. Do you know what I mean? You know, that would basically optimize production. Now, then again, information that could be shared by experts, you know, to the farmers either through mobile apps or USSD. If we look at most smallholder farmers where they operate from, you know, they lack the necessary infrastructure to be able to get this information. Yeah. Most of them actually rely on radio, you know, to get this because there's limited power, limited data access, you know, and limited network access. And if we look at that, that's a major constraint because the farmers need to have access to information regarding the weather, you know, because of climate change. Yeah. They need to be able to forecast, you know. They need information about, you know, agribusiness advisory, you know, and all of this basically restrict or limit the capacity of the smallholder farmers, you know, to play in the mainstream. Then again, I believe strongly that for this to be resolved, it is not just about building infrastructure in the rural areas that will support this. That will contribute to that. It is a necessity. But also for the farmers to be able to constitute themselves into groups, functional groups, that they will have functional representatives or representation. And this representation will be able to provide them adequate support while the representation, basically has partnerships, with external bodies. So for instance, in Agro Exchange, we don't see ourselves, oh, look, we know everything. What we do is we establish partnerships, symbiotic relationships, whereby we're able to complement the services of our partners with ours. And, vis-a-vis, same with our partners. And it has to work with this because a lot of small farmers, they do not consider farming as a business. You see what I mean? They do not treat it as a business.
And that's a problem.
Exactly. It's a problem. They need information that will enable them to be able to access all the necessary data or resources that will enable them to make money from the farm. So the information, like I said earlier, could be information on access to finance. How can they get credit? Are they financially literate? So there has to be capacity building, information on investment opportunities, information on off-takers, information on, ICT, agribusiness advisory. All of this, they have to come together. And again, with the efforts of different pockets of independent, service providers, these has been disruptive, so to speak, and is gradually changing the narrative for the smallholder farmers, because a whole lot of the regulatory organizations that support smallholder farmers, they've adopted the use of smart technologies to communicate useful information, to the farmers.
Now, talking about finances, lapses in farming activities, push farmers to that situation where they really financially need support. Now, I know that there are some financial institutions like microfinance banks, but some farmers really do not have access to them. Why is that, and what should be done about that?
Okay, first, we need to look at, the financial literacy of these farmers, who they are. That is why I said, if they're able to constitute themselves into functional groups, they will be able to get access first to capacity building. They need to understand why they need this money. A lot of farmers, they get money, the next thing is they want to buy a bike or they want to marry another wife. Yes.
Oh, really?
So, they don't know how to optimize the finance. Finance is forward-looking, you see. Now, with access to finance, you have the demand and you have the supply. The supply, basically, they have their own issues, as to punitive interest rates, But then again, the federal government has stepped in with special programs, single-digit interest rates to be able to reduce the burden, on these farmers. Then again, we have other programs like the EGNIS program, that focuses on investment.
What about microfinance institutions?
Microfinance institutions also come into the picture, But then again, you have to look at, the payback period, specified by microfinance is different from that of the federal government. The federal government comes more or less like a grant. And in some cases, like cashless loans, which go to the farmers as inputs. But you see, the microfinance banks, they are commercial entities. So they expect the farmers to pay back at a particular period. Neither do they have the powers to be able to say, okay, look, we're going to give you 6 months, moratorium, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's going to impact their bottom line. A whole lot of farmers, they suffer from that, And again, with the fact that the farmers need to understand first, they need to be backed. A whole lot of the farmers are not backed, because I think we have about over close to 30 million, citizens in Nigeria that actually doing business with the banking sector.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine, hundreds of millions,
The gaps.
that are unbanked.
The bank.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not banked, you are going to be a flight risk, considered a flight risk, because I don't know where you are, I don't know who you are, I don't know if you're exactly.
So there's no data.
Exactly. Now, what we try to do is to provide that linkage, create smart farming centers in communities powered by solar that will enable banks to operate from this location.
That's nice. That's the effort of the Agri-Tech Exchange.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can move closer and bring tech closer to the farmers. Well, we use that as a conduit to share information, to share resources, with the farmers in order for the farmers to optimize their production and gain access to the market.
All right.
So talking about access to lands, what is the way forward? How can these people, gain access?
So first, land is a factor of production. So its role is integral to agricultural production. And secure access to land is also integral, and it's important for farmers to have secure access to land, because first, that is the land in itself is an investment.
Yeah.
And where the land is located, the nutrient composition, is also critical. But first, the access to the land, once that one is taken care of, then no problem. However, the land is under the purview of the state.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, the Land Use Act, which is the overarching law, already ceded that responsibility to the governors. So that means every land belongs to the government.
Okay.
Held in trust of the people.
Okay.
Now, the states have to provide administration of the land. That means registering the land, issuing CFOs, that's the certificates of occupancies and stuff like that. But then again, because of the inefficiencies in doing this, it's basically discouraging a lot of people. The states do not have adequate information about the stock of land within the state.
This boils down to that data.
Exactly, and information.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's no information available that if I want to start farming, I can go to the state to say, can you show me where I can get a land that is good for rice? That's a problem. You know what I mean? We all know what is good for rice.
Yeah.
Proximity to water, resources and stuff like that. But how many states have this? Even do they have it on the web? The states have to start thinking about things like this, access to information. They have to enable, because it's not just the land, it's the information about the land that is critical for this. If I have secure access to land and I can get another land, right, then trust me, as my business grows or my farm grows, then I can commit to long-term investment. The land in itself, like I said, is an investment.
Yeah.
So, for starters, access, and luckily, this access to land is in the national agricultural policies, and also state policies. But the governments have to be supported, either by the private sector or or external bodies to be able to actualize this, especially for the youth that do not have money to farm. In that case, large tracts of land that belong to the state designated for agriculture could be used as agro schemes, where ecosystems that have ICT, that have capacity building in agribusiness, that have capacity building in financial literacy, investment, things like that, would enable the youth to be able to optimize that opportunity. Even linkages with research centers like IITA, Screen, all these organizations will be able to change the lives of the youth. So with that, access to land is essential. That is the first layer of constraints that need to be mitigated.
Another big problem here is poverty. Most of a larger population of Nigerian farmers are faced with the problem of poverty. Do you think that there are policies that government can put in place to help lift farmers out of
poverty?
Yes.
Absolutely. The government, they have fantastic policies. You have policies for the Agroprenuers program. You have policies for the agribusiness, small scale.
And you know, one thing is, it's not just about having policies.
Yes.
It's about having effective policies. How effective are these policies?
Yes. So to come up with the policies is not even a problem.
Mm-hmm.
To implement the policies, that is where the problem
Exactly.
lies. You know, to be able to take, to reduce the level of poverty, you know, especially within the rural communities, you know, means development, industrialization has to be directed towards these communities.
Okay.
These areas have to be opened up, you know, to create maybe special economic zones for agricultural production, you know, or processing.
Okay.
Because most of these inhabitants or citizens, residents there, they are farmers, small-scale farmers. There has to be somebody that's buying everything off them. They do not need to take it to local markets to sell, you know. They need somebody to buy everything off them as an off-taker and use. So with such policies, you know, and supported by full implementation, it makes it a lot easier to be able to take these farmers out of poverty. Remember, throwing money at the problem doesn't solve the problem. You know, you have to enact a systematic process.
They'll keep working.
Exactly. You know, if you throw money at the problem now, like I said, the farmer, once he receives the money, he wants to solve the immediate problem. You know, he has debts you need to pay. You need to pay the children's school fees. At what point is he going to use that money for the agriculture? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you need to get poverty can only be solved for this for farmers in rural areas if the government, with the partnerships with external bodies or private sector, are able to come together and systematically outline a roadmap, you know, to open up these areas.
Okay.
So you don't have people emigrating from rural areas to urban areas.
Yeah.
You're actually creating clusters of investment in those areas, you know. So you can attract investors there to start a processing outfit for rice, cassava. Do you know what I mean?
Which is a big opportunity.
Exactly. You know, so with that, if I know there's an off-taker that's going to be paying me 100,000 every month, you know, for my, obviously, the next thing is I want to get another plot of land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be making 200,000.
Production,
exactly.
Right?
You know, and with the information that is available to me, that I know that, look, this is the variety of cassava that I need to plant to be able to supply this off-taker, then most of it is sold. Once I have that, then I can get access to finance. You get what I mean? You can see how everything's tied up.
Links.
Yes. You know, so once that is done, you know, these problems cannot be solved, you know, in isolation. It has to be done seamlessly. You get what I mean? You know, and I know the government, they have good intentions. They have policies, yes, we're experiencing probably a challenge at the moment. But I believe strongly that if we continue to work in our own capacity, you know, with these local farmers or smallholder, you know, small scale producers, as the case may be, the poverty level in the next, absolutely, significantly, you know, next 5, 10, 20 years, a whole lot of these places would have turned to major agro-processing zones. Now, we have support from African Development Bank. We have support from Bank of Industry. We have support from the World Bank, you know, like I said, using the example of the World Bank ramp, you know, all these programs to focus on improving the livelihoods of farmers. Exactly, in the rural areas.
And that's a good movement.
Absolutely, you know, and that takes off that burden, you know, off the shoulders of the government. Then we now have a whole lot of private sector, you know, involvement and investment in these areas.
And with this, we can make agriculture in Africa better.
Because
we are trying to look at a community where agriculture will not be seen as a poverty-stricken kind of sector. It's not for poor. It's not for the poor people. It's for everyone, because everyone involves in the food value chain. All right. So let's take a short break. When we come back, the show continues. Don't go anywhere.
Agribusiness Weekend, please always watch and keep it locked there. They're doing an amazing job.
Welcome back back. It's still Agribusiness Weekend, and Adewale Adegoke is still on set. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time out with you. I've been seeing you've been ditching out a lot of information that so many persons need to take advantage of, and that's a huge one. Thank you so much. All right, so we want you to have some fun before you leave the studio today. So I have 10 questions on my list, and I want you to pick 3 questions randomly, 3 numbers randomly. So let me start with your first question. Give me your number.
3.
Number 3. Riddles. Okay, so I'm an object. You have to break me before you can eat me. What am I?
Egg.
Ah, that's so sharp. That's so sharp. Okay, your next question. I'm sure I'm going to get you now. Your next question.
5.
Number 5. What's your favorite food?
Pounded yam.
Why pounded yam?
I always loved it. I don't know why I've always loved it.
So what's the soup that complements it?
Any soup.
At all?
No meat. I don't
Are
care.
you for real?
I eat it 3 times a day.
Let them just give you pounded yam and you're good to go.
Fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, your last question.
7.
Number 7. Okay. This one, we're going to be singing. You are going to be singing.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you a word, then you sing a song with that word. Please make sure that the song, you're not the one composing it. Don't compose the song. Okay, so let me start with the first one. Love.
Okay, I have to sing with.
Yeah, so you have to sing with love.
That's tough.
Oh my.
I'm old school.
You're old school. You mean that's when the love is real.
Okay, well, sorry.
Alright, thank you so much for coming to the Agribusiness Weekend show. I had so much fun with you.
Thank you.
On behalf of I and the Agribusiness Weekend team, we want to give you this package.
Thank you
We
very much.
say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Come on, go in, you can check it. Actually,
Nice.
there's a key to an exit.
All right.
The car is parked outside. We can.
I appreciate that.
Alright, so this is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Agribusiness Weekend. Thank you for watching and thank you for staying tuned. Till I come your way next time, do well to follow us on all our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, thank you so much and have a lovely weekend.